The island of Sodor is filled with lots of ordinary colors. There are plenty of engines and lots of jobs to do. There's a chance for pulling passengers and freight along with a big long line of cargo. There are variants of engines all around the railway. Steam engines, diesel engines, standard gauge engines, and narrow gauge engines too. For example, steam engines like Thomas blow their whistles. And diesels like Mavis honk their electric horns. One day, Sir Topham Hatt arrived to see James at Titmuth's sheds.
The quarry has an important chance to enhance the coal. I need an engine that's red, splendid, and number 5.
I won't let you down, sir.
Soon, James was on his way to the quarry to talk to Mavis. He was sure she could have her sentences completed for him, but James knew everything about being a very splendid engine. Finally, by the time he got to the quarry, the workman had a special for him. An emergency whistle that could instantly be used for dangers surrounding every engine. James thought the emergency whistle could be the most perfect thing to use.
Wow! Does it look like a brand new whistle?
It's not just any whistle, it's an emergency whistle. You're to use it just only if there's an emergency.
Yes, sir.
James realized the emergency whistle wasn't just a case of avoiding rapid emergencies. He usually wanted to use it to play pranks on the engines, mostly diesels and trams. First, James blew his emergency whistle on Bill and Ben. Bill and Ben were frightened. They clattered and scattered.
I told you two goofy little engines that my emergency whistle doesn't kill you.
Next, of course, James blew his emergency whistle on Emily. Emily was cross. She hated noisiness.
That loud emergency whistle is so irritatingly noisy.
Then, indeed, James blew his emergency whistle on Bertie. Bertie skidded all over the road.
James, you nearly caused an accident.
But James couldn't even stop blowing his emergency whistle. Later that afternoon, James had a talk with Edward and Henry at Dafford Station.
Seriously, James, what's with the situation about you being able to blow your emergency whistle by playing pranks on our friends while they're very busy working on the cargo?
I want to teach them how to be experienced for Brendan docks.
James, that's not an action. When exactly are you able to blow your emergency whistle?
I did it 3 times though. Now Sir Topham Hatt seems to be out of order right now.
Henry, tell James he doesn't work for his emergency whistle, in case he can instantly stay.
Alright, Edward, sounds like a pleasure for James to put it in his red shiny coat of paint, though I understand he needs more time to concentrate for the diesels in their staff. Now James, it's important to know that emergencies can't harm anyone, including Toby. You can blow your emergency whistle only if something dangerous is happening.
Thanks, Henry, good luck.
And James had learned his own lesson better than an engine. Later on, Gordon was ready to pick up his passengers and head for the next station.
Get on board, people, I've got the express to pull.
With all the mighty help and more suitable engines having all their attitudes added, Gordon headed for the hills, or should I say, his hill.
If I'm going to protect myself from all the rapid engines who ran out of extra solid colors, first thing to do is to tell Thomas and Toby about Gordon pulling his express today.
There's a bunch of snow here.
Who's gonna pick it all up? George the steamroller?
I hate George the steamroller.
Well, James, you better make sure someone doesn't get here.
There's a bunch of white snow. Even if an engine gets here, warn them not to touch it.
Well, according to what Thomas and Toby told me, I'm special. Even if someone runs over here, I'll warn them over the snow.
Just then, James saw Gordon in the distance, heading for a very big pile of heavy white snow. Gordon couldn't slow down. He was speeding very fast.
Bust my buffers. I better warn Gordon so he doesn't hit all the big white fluffy snow.
James knew that it was now his own hope to blow his emergency whistle for what was going on. So he blew the loudest emergency whistle that had ever been heard.
Something weird seems to be happening to myself out here.
And Gordon applied his brakes just in time. James had now suddenly realized he usually saved Gordon's life.
Cinders and ashes, my dear. Thanks for warning me, James. I'm alright, by the way.
Don't mention it, Gordon. At least I was able to blow my emergency whistle there.
Everyone was at Tidmouth's sheds waiting for Stanley to arrive. Sir Topham Hatt spoke to them.
Stanley's on his way over here to talk to you guys about this thing James was able to do for saving Gordon's life, as well as attempting to acknowledge Percy and Toby for the freight train.
Stanley arrived at the sheds to tell the engines about what was happening on James's day.
James, you sure are a possible rescuable tender engine who'll end up rolling over the rails. Thomas was able to find out the prophecy of the cargo, but it isn't too much for us all.
That's what they all call me, a splendid red engine.
And all the engines laughed and whistled. Sir Topham Hatt clapped his hands, and Toby rang his bell. The next day, Toby was on his way to the quarry to talk to Mavis about the cargo trade. Mavis was thinking about Harvey and Salty working at the docks.
Well, Toby, I've got to be able to tell you, James didn't even say hi to me when he was here, but today I hear Harvey and Salty are working very hard shunting troublesome trucks, yet they're going to need more really useful engines on track, while Percy's collecting coal.
That's alright, Mavis. At least there's no one else working down at Brendam docks. You chuff off to the docks. I'll talk to Thomas and Percy about the troublesome trucks.
Whatever you say, Toby.
Soon, Toby came to see Thomas and Percy at the oil status.
Mavis needs more time to help Harvey and Salty working on shunting troublesome trucks, so I'm gonna put you guys on my side, while Edward and Henry help Gordon and James for sure, just until Sir Topham Hatt can help us find out how much long cargo we've been able to pull.
Well, I don't need to pull Annie and Clarabelle on this YouTube account, of course.
Yeah, Thomas, and I hear Mavis might be on her way to talk to Harvey and Salty on the cargo. I sure like pulling the mail. Pulling the mail is clever.
Oh, and Thomas, if we can't stand it any longer trying to find out about Mavis, you and I are gonna be stuck at Tidemouth sheds feeding Oliver and Duck a bowl of spaghetti.
Trains don't eat spaghetti. Don't you just hate the mess?
It doesn't make sense.
Well, of course, the world wasn't holding still. Mavis needed to chuff onward to the docks in order to see Harvey and Salty shunting the troublesome trucks.
Going to the docks ought to be helping me find this out for all the boats and fishermen.
Cranky was loading Bulstrode a bunch of cargo boxes full of fish to swim in the ocean blue while Salty and Harvey shunted the troublesome trucks around.
Gee, Harvey, I wonder how many times you've shunted the fish.
You mean the fearsome troublesome trucks, Salty.
Alright, never mind, like it doesn't care about the plot behind chocolate.
Speaking of chocolate, Salty, I bet there's a super tasty tour led by Toby and Percy. Thomas told them where to find the construction contractor.
Right away, Mavis, sure thing. At least it's not worth Thomas and Percy folding the paper.
Trains don't fold paper, Salty. Go get Emily and tell her about what I'm going to be doing.
Alright, I see. I'll get Emily to see you.
What's gonna happen to us here?
Nothing much, Harvey. As soon as I'm now healthy, you'll be able to practice.
What's the big deal about being a healthy engine?
All the complaints were soon coupled up to Mavis and Salty. Harvey was now quite concerned about the troublesome trucks, thinking they weren't rough. However, Thomas and Percy, on the other hand, were trying to find an engine who made steaming fuel float around the future of the fountain and more colorful actions.
Bubbling boilers, Percy. I wonder where Stanley is.
He'll be here momentarily.
Man, I hope Mavis wasn't alone at Glenrock Station guarding the brass band and their big powerful music performing such musical instruments on strike.
That's just for asking herself on what we told Gordon about. I just hope he doesn't miss the next generation of James.
Meanwhile, Emily arrived at the docks to talk to Mavis about the fearsome trucks.
Nice noticing yourself, Mavis. I've realized everyone cooking cookies at the Canyon Carrots.
Those places are fake, Emily.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry about the madness and energy I was able to gain with Diesel 10.
Diesel 10 is an evil diesel.
Well, Mavis, we gotta get all the milk delivered over here. Sir Topham Hatt needs milk.
He's already got milk, Emily. What's the big deal for him to buy more milk from us?
We need plenty of milk tankers while you pile up thousands of other tankers from other pots.
The Tiny Tots Music Orchestra.
While the docks was waiting for its milk takers to arrive, Emily stopped by to talk to Edward, Henry, and James about Thomas, Percy, Toby, and Gordon.
You guys agree with me that we're the steam team, eh?
That's right, Emily, there are 8 of us.
We've planted 5 melons for Farmer McColl at his farm, but now his corn seems to be bad.
Now Farmer McColl's wasting his time to feed his animals.
Can you make an evil crazy plan to spoil Thomas and Percy among an anxious jelly cargo car?
That sounds kinda like an idea. Let me find that jelly car.
Excellent choice for us to do, while collect the coal train.
Henry, is there something you and I need to try together?
All we need to do is let Toby know he made the coal easier.
I like it.
Emily chuffed over to sweat the car from Gordon and Bertie.
Hey! Don't take that car.
It's my car now, Gordon. See you in a few months.
A few months? We don't like it.
Just cheer up, you guys. We'll think about a new plan discovered by Max and Monty.
No, 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 no. I hate Max and Monty.
They're the 2 big fat killer cars who'll put dirt on us. Do yourself a favor to let them drive to a new place in heaven.
Now Harvey, you keep this up while I scout Arthur and Billy.
With pleasure.
Just then, Emily put a car with cans of jelly to break others.
This is going to be the most craziest train accident.
And while Emily chuffed off, the jelly car stood still. Nothing was happening yet. It just stood there, standing, not even inventing anything. There was no one to come by. The jelly car stood still. Nothing had been going on. Just then, Thomas, Percy, Henry, Gordon, and Sir Topham Hatt came to get a spot at the jelly car.
Can I smash it off the rails?
Well, Percy, if that's what you're going to do, go ahead.
And Percy was frightened that he banged the jelly car so hard it flew into the air to cause the cans falling off, opening, spilling icky, sticky, gooey jelly all over everyone.
Great, just great, you guys. Thanks a lot, Percy, nice one. You've smashed the jelly cans.
I did. Now, what a big mistake.
That's genius, Percy. You sure caused jelly to spill on us. We gotta go to the washdown.
This Percy's such a disaster.
I agree with Gordon about this. Getting slobbered by a bunch of jelly ain't the best game ever. Can you find out a better way to be a really useful engine?
We can't be able to do so unless we all get ourselves cleaned up before dinner.
We're gonna be having dinner? Trains don't know how to eat.
Look on the lighter side, guys. Here's what I'll need us to do. First we'll go to the washdown and clean all the jelly off of us, then prepare a new estate.
You mean a newer mission?
Whatever. Well, we'll excuse ourselves for being a very big friendly group of wise trains.
Thanks, Sir Topham Hatt. We're all safe with you now.
After a washdown, Thomas and Henry told Emily about what she did on purpose when she apologized about the accident, knowing it was all her fault.
Sorry about the accident, it sure was hilarious though.
It's alright, Emily, next time be careful.
I agree with Thomas. I hear Gordon's getting ready to start his expensive tour.
Oh yeah, right, Henry, I see. It's time for him to start his daily Superior subway station.
And Thomas was correct. Gordon was about to start his unit patrol undercover.
Let me couple up to my coaches before I can find a big way to get to the Melody Station.
Same thing with James getting ready to start his experience pulling 3 Sodor fuel tankers.
Get out of my way, Molly. Your yellow train usually seems colorful outside. This ought to be a red train pulling yellow fuel tankers.
I hear something weird must be going on with Gordon and James, heading for the exact same station called a musical melody station, which we don't think exists on our island. Let me talk to Thomas and Percy about it.
Gordon was now coupled up to his express.
Good luck, Murdoch and Arthur. I'm off to the Melody Station.
While James was now coupled up to his 3 Sodor fuel tankers.
Good luck, Donald and Douglas. I'm off to the Melody Station.
Gordon and James didn't even realize that they were both on the exact same track, heading for the exact same place by the name of the Melody Station, but just then there was trouble, whereas the 2 tender engines could see each other running into each other, and they did so! Where's the crash bang into each other? And they crashed again! But the tenders falling off! And the cars are crashing gradually! My Power Express is ruined! My shiny red coated paint! What an unacceptable behavior. This is all your fault, James. Your fault, Gordon. Too bad. We're doomed. I'll never get to the Melody Station now. Luckily, no one was hurt, except for Harold flying in the sky thinking of beautiful birds. Gordon and James were waiting to be put back on the rails until Sir Topham Hatt arrived on board Thomas. Fizzling fireboxes, Topham! Look at this gigantic mess! All right, you 2 engines. It's your choice this time. You can get taken to either the scrapyard or the works. But Gordon and James didn't know what they could say. They didn't know what to do. Then Thomas had an idea. And with that, Sir Topham Hatt telephoned the station master. And the station master came to see Percy. You ought to collect Rocky and put Gordon and James back on track. Alright, but let me get Duck. And the station master knew it was going to be anxious. Sir Topham Hatt was cross. In the meantime, Percy and Duck arrived with Rocky. Duck pushed and Percy pulled. Thomas knew they'd need to help out with what was going on.
Come on, Rocky. We need to put Gordon and James on the track. They've caused a big accident.
I know we can do it, but hold up Gordon and James. You'll be back on track.
So Thomas, Percy, and Duck worked very hard together to put Gordon and James back on the tracks, until by then Sir Topham Hatt was able to understand the accident.
Now that we're all settled, I shall be able to insist that your trains broke.
That's right, Sir Topham Hatt. They mustn't be able to forget to apologize for themselves.
Sorry guys, James and I were so close getting to the exact same station we were heading.
That's alright, Gordon. You and James are safe now. We're heroic. Rocky's useful.
He's a good-natured crane like Harvey and a breakdown train, 'cause he's a powerful crane.
Alright, now Thomas, you're going to be with Henry during a walkthrough across the woods looking for an eagle called the Economic Eagle.
The Economic Eagle? Amazing. I've never heard about it.
Thomas couldn't wait to see the Economic Eagle. So later that day, he and Henry were at Tigmouth's sheds when Sir Topham Hatt arrived to tell them important news.
Whoever finds the Economic Eagle is granted to make their legends come true. I need Thomas to pull tar tankers and Henry to pull milk tankers.
Thomas and Henry realized about the Economic Eagle, but Sir Topham Hatt chose Edward.
I wish I could pull passengers.
And I wish I could see the economic eagle, Henry.
Thomas stopped by to pick up the tar tankers, gaining bars and bricks filled with bags.
Great. Tar tankers. These can instantly help us find out. Let me take them with me.
Henry saw Thomas shunting the tankers at his level. They were a very big hit. Then they saw Edward chuff by with a group of bird watchers.
What are we gonna do, Thomas?
I know what we can do, Henry. Take each tanker someplace. You'll take the first half of the tankers to the docks. Then I'll come back to take the other half of the tankers to the timber yards for bread.
Henry thought that was a very brilliant idea, and Thomas shunted the first half of the tankers into a siding.
It'll be quicker to take half of the tankers to Bluff's Cove, finding the economic eagle.
Right away, Thomas.
So Henry took the first half of Thomas's tar tankers and went off to Brandham Docks.
Exactly what he told me about. I'm gonna do this very wisely. Hope nothing gets on the move. You just gotta pay attention to what Thomas tells me to do, then it's possible to do it.
Thomas arrived at the station. He watched high at the sky, but didn't see the economic eagle. Thomas was feeling left out. Then Bertie the bus pulled up.
Try Gordon's Hill, Thomas.
That's an easier place to start with.
Henry had already taken the first half of the tar tankers to the timber yards, and now he headed to take the milk for Farmer McColl. While he was on his way to see Farmer McColl, Henry could see the other half of Thomas's tar tankers still waiting clear in the siding.
Where's Thomas? He better come back and pick up the other set of his poor black tar tankers.
Henry didn't really care if Thomas could come back to pick up the other tankers, so Henry picked up the other half of the tankers and took them carefully to the docks. Henry suddenly got to the docks just in time. Salty and Harvey were ready to insert their high property, and Henry was almost out of order.
Almost out of order? Too bad. Never remember Henry's hobby.
That sounds kinda like a sad song sung by Sir Topham Hatt, thinking he doesn't like it.
When Thomas got to the top of Gordon's Hill, he watched and watched and watched and watched, but there still wasn't even sign of the economic eagle. And then Thomas remembered his tar tankers and Henry.
Cinders and ashes, I better find Henry.
Thomas found Henry in the siding.
Thomas, I sent all the tar tankers to the docks and the timber yards for you, but now I'm tired, and I can't keep my axles in the station.
What a shame.
Bertie pulled up again and said with pride,
Hurry, Thomas, you gotta find the economic eagle.
But Thomas needed to think up a way to get the milk to Farmer McColl's farm.
Just give me a moment, Bertie. I'm in the middle of a danger. First let me help Henry take the milk tankers to the farm, then we can see the eagle.
That's exactly what Thomas says, because I need coal in order to run properly at the right time. And Thomas, can you find a way to deliver the milk tankers for Farmer McColl at his hard farm?
Just stay here while I take the milk tankers to the farm, then we'll see the eagle.
So for all that he realized, Thomas took the milk tankers to Farmer McColl at his farm, until he and Henry at sunset found there, up on the rocks, not one, but two economic eagles. Thomas and Henry watched the two beautiful birds.
That's what I call colorful. It's nice to watch two eagles. They're like the banana train.
Banana train? It doesn't exist. Who can care a whole lot within the timer and the timing limit?
And Thomas and Henry were both happily concerned to think for all they were able to do. Good. One more scene and then we're all done with this video. Thomas talks to Toby and Duck about how important it is to be a really useful engine on time.
Toby, Duck, you'll never guess what Henry and I were up to. we'd seen 2 economic eagles.
Wow. That's quite interesting. I wish I could do such a thing like that with Bill and Ben.
What's the big deal, Toby? Bill and Ben are cheeky.
Well, not as cheeky as Percy. I better pick up Henrietta.
Alright, see you later, Toby. And Thomas, is there another thing you can ask me about?
Nothing much to tell you, Duck. We've realized there are plenty of steam engines on the island. They know how to blow their whistles, in case they're able to do so, mostly all the time. And right now, I feel like there's a chance for you to help Oliver and Toad today.
They're working on the cargo. I'd be happy to do that, pal. I'll see you in a little while.
Well, narrator, I guess that's it for this entire video, cause it's closing.
And Thomas agrees that being a really useful engine is more important than pulling cars. Even everyone up to this day knows that the island of Sodor is always very busy every day. Especially if you're an engine, it's important to be a really useful one. Indeed. The end.
Thanks for watching this long 26-minute Thomas video. We hope you've enjoyed it.